Hello, my name is Douglas Pinkham. I am a divorce and family law attorney here in Orange County. I also practice in Los Angeles, Riverside, and San Bernardino counties. I am going to walk you through the income and expense declaration. It's the FL-150. You need the FL-150 for your declarations of disclosure, but it's important to note that the FL-150 is also required in any request of the court that has anything to do with financials. So if you are making any financial request, child support, spousal support, attorney's fees, potentially some issues with liquidation of assets, you're going to need an income and expense declaration. So this is a very, very important form. So follow along. Again, some of you can see me working on the form as I go through this, and some of you cannot. But those of you that cannot see me working on the form will certainly be able to follow along. I will provide enough detail that you'll be able to follow along. All right, so at the top of the FL-150, again, like every other form, is your name and address. You're also going to need your phone number there. And then where it says attorney for, and by the way, you don't need to put in your email address if you don't want to. And attorney for, if you're not represented by an attorney, put your own name in there. The next line asks for the county where your case is filed. So if your case is in Orange County, put Orange. If your case is in San Bernardino County, put it San Bernardino. If it's in Santa Barbara, put Santa Barbara, whatever it is. Then the next section calls for the address and the branch name of the court where your case is filed, your divorce is filed. So if you don't know that right now, hop online real quick, pause this video, hop online and get the address and the branch name of that courthouse, and then come back, fill it in, and then restart this video. Okay, so when you get done with the address and the branch name of your court, then it asks for the petitioner's name and the respondent's name. Again, and I've said this several times on my other videos, but the petitioner never changes. It's the person who filed the divorce. The respondent never changes. It's the person that was responding to the divorce being filed by the other party. Okay. Then, so petitioner's name, respondent's name. The section there where it asks for other parent or claimant, in well over 99% of cases, there's nothing put in that box. So if there's nobody else involved in your case, and you would know if there's another parent or a claimant involved in your case, that is left blank. If you're confused about that, you may want to do some research on that, but it is likely left blank is fine. Then you need to put in the case number. I've got a fake 2015 case number in here, but put in your correct case number, obviously. Then the next section, employment, and under section, it's 1, employment. Under A, you're going to put your employer's name, right in your employer's name. Under B, put your employer's address. And you can also put in the address where you physically work if you work at a branch office or a different location from, say, a corporate office. Then it asks for your employer's phone number. Put in a phone number that would be able to reach your supervisor would be good. Then it asks, under D, it asks for occupation. Put in your occupation, your title. If you don't have an official title, give yourself an official title. Date job started. If you don't know the exact date you started your job, put in the month and year. If you don't know the exact month and year, put in an approximation. You know, if you think you started in July of 1990, put in July of 1990. Okay, so if you are unemployed, you're going to put in there the date or the month and year that you last were employed. So if you stopped working because you became pregnant, or you stopped working because you were laid off in, let's say, October of 2014, put 10/2014 into that box. If you are employed, G applies, and it asks, I work about how many hours per week? So if you work 30 hours a week, put in 30. If you work 40 hours a week, put in 40. If you're like many of us and you work more like 50 or more hours per week, you can put that in there. But keep in mind, a judge is going to read this. And there's something that you want to be aware of. If you put 50 hours in there, you're telling the world, under penalty of perjury, by the way, this document gets filed under penalty or signed under penalty of perjury. You're telling the world, I work 50 hours a week, thus I can work 50 hours a week, and I'm at least comfortable working 50 hours a week. That might not be something that you want to tell the world under penalty of perjury. 45 hours is perfectly safe. If you're actually working 55 hours a week, and you have been for years, and you're going to continue doing that, you also don't want to lie on this form. It is signed under penalty of perjury. So you need to decide what to put in there. Okay, the next section, I get H. I get paid blank. They're looking for an amount of money in that box. So if you get paid $4,500 gross per month, then you'd put in $4,500 a month, and you would mark month in that box. If you get paid, $800 a week, then you would want to mark 800 and put a week. Mark the box that says week. If you don't have a weekly pay or a monthly pay, and let's say you get paid $13 an hour, then you can put in $13 an hour. Whatever it is for you, that's what you want to put in that section. Okay, going down the form a little bit. The next section is number 2, age and education. So A, pretty simple, put in your age there. Then, if you have completed high school, mark yes under B. If you have not, mark no. So let's presume you have graduated high school, and we'll put a yes there. If you have not, mark no. And then let's say you completed through 11th grade, then you would put an 11 under highest grade completed. Then, but let's go back, because that won't apply for what I'm going to do next. Let's say you did graduate high school, and then it asks under C, number of years of college completed. Let's say you completed all of your undergrad degrees, and let's say that you did obtain a Bachelor of Arts. So you've got a BA degree. And let's say you've got some grad school. Let's say that you are like me and you went to law school. So you've got 3 years of postgraduate degree and you have a Juris Doctor. If you have a master's, you may have an MA. You may have MBA. So whatever you may have. You may have 4 years here, and you may have an MD. I don't know what you're going to have. You need to put that in yourself. If there is no advanced degree, you leave these blank. If you only completed 2 years of college and you did not get a degree of any kind, then you leave those blank. You just put 2 under years of number of years of college completed. Okay, let's go down to E. I have professional and occupational licenses. If you have any professional or occupational licenses, then you would want to list them in there. You may be a notary, for example. You would note that in there. But let's presume you don't have any. Let's leave that blank. Vocational training. Do you have any vocational training? If you are an LVN, you're a nurse, an LVN, but you did not have a degree to go with it, then you would put yes, vocational training, and LVN over here. Okay. Number 3, tax information. Under A, you're going to mark that box, and you're going to put in that the specified tax year, the last year you filed the taxes. If you filed taxes last year, put that year in there. If you haven't filed for 5 years, and let's say you haven't filed since, 2013, mark 2013 in there. Okay, then it's asking for your filing status. It's likely married, either married filing jointly or married filing separate. You may have filed single, but whatever you filed, mark that in there. Let's presume you filed married filing joint, and let's put in your spouse's name, of course, in that section. We are going to put in your wife's name. In this case, her name is Jane Doe. Okay, and if you live here in California and you also filed state tax returns in California, mark California. If you were working out of state, and let's say you were working in Texas, then you could put Texas in here. Let's presume you are and have been working in California. Then in the section under 4, other parties' income, you're going to put in there your estimate of your spouse's income. If you think they make $2,500 a month, put in $2,500 a month. It's just an estimate. If you have no idea, just give your best estimate. I'm going to put $2,500 in here. Then in this section right below it, it asks for this estimate is based on, and you can put prior knowledge. You can put it's based on I've seen some of my spouse's paychecks. If you know whatever it is that leads you to believe that they make $2,500 a month or $10,000 a month, whatever they make, put that information in there. I'm going to put in here pay stubs from the past. Okay. Then at the bottom of that form, please take note that it says above the date section, let me get rid of that, above the date section, it clearly says, I declare under penalty of perjury, under the laws of the state of California, that the information contained in all pages of this form and any attachments is true and correct. So you are signing this under penalty of perjury. Called that 2 words. Okay, so pay stubs from the past. All right, so date, we're going to put in a date in there. Let's use that date. And again, this is Jonathan D. Doe. So then you're going to put your name on the left and sign it on the right. Then we're going to go on to page 2. Okay. Top of page 2, again, petitioner and respondent. Put those down, and the case number. Then again, other parent or claimant, likely left blank. Then we get into the section of income. Under 5A, it asks for your salary or wages, and that is last month. Let's say, for example, last month you made $4,500. Let's say last month you made $4,800. Because you got a few hundred extra dollars. But in the last 12 months, your average monthly is only $4,500. Then you'll put that in there. If your paycheck is exactly the same every week or every 2 weeks or every month, then it's likely going to just be $4,500, whatever your monthly paycheck is, it's going to be the same on last month as it is on average monthly. If you had any overtime, that goes into the section for B. Let's say you worked overtime and earned $350 extra dollars. But normally, on average, you don't get much overtime. So in the last 12 months, your average for overtime was only about $100 per month. Commissions and bonuses, that only applies if you're getting commissions and bonuses. If it's a one-time bonus that you get once a year, don't put it in here. There's a section below where that will go. Okay, and then public assistance. If you're on public assistance of any kind, you're going to want to put that number in there, and average monthly there, which is likely going to be the same number. If you are receiving spousal support from this marriage, the marriage that this case number is under, then you're going to mark that box under E. And you're going to put in the amount to the right, both last month and the average. Again, likely to be the same number for average and last month. If it's from spousal support from a prior marriage, then you're going to want to mark that box and again put the numbers on the right hand side for how much you're receiving each month. If you are receiving partner support from same as spousal support, but from a domestic partnership or gay marriage, then you are going to put those numbers in there, and that will be on the right. If you are a same-sex couple and you married, then you're going to still be standard marriage. It's going to be under the marriage, so that's going to still go under E. Okay, very good. No problem. G, 5G, pension. If you're receiving pension income, it goes there. Social Security income goes under the next section. Disability, Social Security, SSI, SDI, or private insurance, you're going to want to mark the appropriate box if any of those apply. And you're going to want to put those numbers again to the right. Unemployment compensation, if you're receiving unemployment, put those numbers in. Workers' compensation, put those numbers in. Or military, if you're in the military and you're receiving BAQ, royalty payments or hazard pay or danger pay or whatever you might be receiving some extra pay, you're going to want to put those in there. And then please explain what it is in the section below other. And by the way, that's any other, not just military. So if you have some other kind of income, put it in there. Under 6, investment income. If you have dividends or interest income, put that in there. Technically, this even includes, $6 a year that you receive from a checking account, a tiny checking account. But obviously, the court's most interested in, and the state's most interested, if you have, any significant income from interest or dividends, that needs to go in there. Rental property income, you can even make notes in this section here. If there is some rental property income, you can put what that rental income property is from, or what that rental income is from, the property, maybe the property address, whatever it is. And then put those numbers again to the right. If you have trust income, that goes on the next line. And again, other. If there's some other form of investment income of any kind, explain it under other and put those numbers into the right. Number 7, if you are self-employed, you're going to put your numbers under section 7. Please note that the very top, the title even says income from self-employment after business expenses for all businesses. Okay, so you may likely need help with this section if you are in fact self-employed. If you pay your house payment or your cell phone bill or most car payments, you are likely paying yourself or paying those payments are likely going to be charged as income to you. So you would not be able to write those off under the family code. Now, I understand that under federal code, federal tax code, you can absolutely get away with some of that. In the family court, you're likely not going to get away with that. So you may need help trying to figure out what your actual income is for family court purposes in this section. But they are clearly looking for legitimate business expenses. If you have rent for an office for business, that's clearly a business expense. Supplies, advertising, something that does not benefit you personally is clearly going to be or likely going to be a good business expense that can be taken off your gross income. So then they want to know on the next line, are you the owner or sole proprietor? Are you a business partner or some other type of entity? Mark the box that applies, the proper box that applies, and then explain it to the right. Okay, then number of years in this business. If you're in a contractor and you've been a contractor for 9 years, put 9 years. Then it asks for the name of the business. Be very specific. If you have a corporation, put the correct full corporation name there. Type of business, again, if you're in construction, put construction. If you're an attorney, put law. If you are a doctor, put medical. Okay, then this is very, very important. If you are self-employed, you must attach a modern and up-to-date profit and loss statement. So you're going to need to ask your accountant or put together a profit and loss statement and attach it to this if you are self-employed. Do not forget that. That will get you in trouble if it's not done. Additional income under 8. This is where you might want to put a one-time bonus or lottery winnings or an inheritance or something to that effect. You're going to want to explain it in the larger section underneath the title, and to the right you're going to want to put the amount. If there's a great change in income, you're going to want to mark that box. Let's say, for example, you were working one particular job until March of this year, and then you were no longer employed for one reason or another, and in May you got a job making twice as much money. You would want to explain that in this section, and in simple terms, but you're going to want to explain that. Under section 10, deductions, if you are in a union, you're going to have union dues, you're going to want to put that in there. Now remember, these are monthly union dues. Most people get union dues taken out of each check or every other check, something to that effect. But you need to figure out what your monthly total is and put that in there. Required retirement payments. So this is for like teachers, police officers. Oftentimes they literally take money out of your check and put it into a retirement. You don't have a choice. That amount goes in there, $400 a month, $800 a month, whatever it is. Look on your pay stubs, find out what it is, and put that in there. The next section is medical, hospital, dental, and other insurance premiums. And these are premiums that you actually pay. So if your employer pays $300 a month for your premiums and you don't pay anything, then you're going to not put anything in there. If you pay $300 and your employer matches $300 and your total is $600, then you're going to want to put $300 in there because it's what comes out of your check. The next section is child support that I pay for children from another relationship. So if you've got kidders from another relationship and you're paying $500 a month for child support there, you're going to want to put that in there. Spousal support that I pay to a different marriage. So if you're paying, $800 a month for spousal support to a different woman for a different man from a different relationship, then you're going to need to put that in there. If you're not, and you don't have any, you leave it blank. Okay, we'll presume there's none of that. Partner support, that is the same as spousal support, but through a domestic partnership. Again, put that in there if it applies. Necessary job-related expenses not reimbursed by your employer. Okay, so if you have items that you absolutely must have for work and your employer doesn't reimburse you for them, then you can put that total or an average total that you spend average per month in there. So if you're a mechanic and your employer doesn't provide all the tools you need, and you need to spend $200 a month buying tools on average, put $200 a month in there. And then underneath here, put whatever it is, tools, tools for employment, something like that. Very simple. 11, section 11, assets. This is important. It's a bit of a pain in the neck, but you've got to do it. So listen to me. And 11A, right there, you're going to want to put in a total of all of the liquid assets you have. That means if you have a bank account with $500 and a checking and a savings account with, $400, that's $900. And let's say you have a money market account that's got, $100 in there. Now we've got 1,000. And let's say there's some other CD that's got $1,000 in it. That's $2,000 of total liquid assets. You're going to put that in that section. Stocks and bonds and other assets I could easily sell is the next line. If you don't have any stocks and bonds, leave it blank. If you've got, an Ameritrade account with, $6,500 in there, then you put $6,500 in there. If you have nothing, leave it blank. Then all other property. If you own a home, you're going to mark real estate, real, and you're definitely going to mark personal. That is anything that you can, personal property is anything you can pick up or move or whatever. A car, a chair, a dog counts as personal property. So in this section off to the right, what you're going to put in there is an accumulative total of all of your assets, excluding the liquid monies in the account and excluding the stocks and bonds. So let's say you own a home, and the home is worth $600,000, but you owe $250,000 against it. So you have $350,000 worth of equity. So 350 is the first number. Then let's say your car's worth $8,000. Now we're at $358,000. Let's say you have a coin collection that you think is worth $2,000. So now we're at $360,000. And you literally go through all your assets. And let's say you have a 401k that's worth $100,000. Now you have $460,000. And let's say that was all of your assets. And by the way, this includes your spouse's assets. If your spouse also has a 401k worth another $100,000, now you're at $560,000. This section, all other property, real and personal, means everything the community has and owns. So everything. If you've got a piano that's worth $4,000 sitting in your living room, you're going to put it in here. Whatever you've got. Put in a total. Try to figure out a total. It's going to be an estimate. Don't worry about that. So we came up with 560, and let's say we've got that piano too. So I'm going to put 564,000 here. All right. Oops. Okay. Then that concludes this page. Then we go to page 3. Page 3. Yeah, again, the petitioner's name, the respondent's name, and the case number at the top. Under section 12, you're going to mark the following people live with me. So if your spouse still lives with you, then you're going to put her in here. Jane A. Doe. She is 40 years old. She is my wife. And that's how the person's related to me. Wife, person's gross monthly income, and I remember what did we say her income was? We estimated her income at $2,500. So we estimated that on the first page. So we're gonna put $2,500 in here as the estimation. Yes, on the far right, she does help with paying some bills, and we also have our children that we live with. We have Debbie Doe. She is, oh, I'm sorry. I could spell that right. So we got Debbie Doe there. She is 11. Oh, I think she's 10. We put her on the front page. She is the daughter. She does not have income, and she does not help with expenses. And we also have Dylan Doe, our son. He's 8, and he's my son. And he also does not have a job and does not help with expenses. Now, number 13, section 13, average monthly expenses. Absolutely mark estimated expenses. If you mark actual expenses, you need to know that we're going to mark down groceries down here. Your groceries aren't the same amount every month. So everything is slightly different. Your rent or mortgage might be the same every month, but a lot of these are going to be estimated. So put estimated. Okay? Under A, let's say you rent, and your rent is $1,950 per month. We rent, so we don't have principal or interest, but just for sakes of estimating that, let's do this. Let's say your mortgage total is $2,500 a month. You would mark mortgage and $2,500 here. Of that entire payment of your mortgage, it includes principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So you need to go find a statement for your house payment, and on there it's going to say what your principal payment is. And let's say under this circumstance your principal payment is $400, and let's say that it's real easy. Let's say your taxes are also $400 a month, and let's say your homeowner's insurance is $200 per month. Then that necessarily means that your interest portion of your payment is the rest of the $2,500, which comes out to $1,500 per month. So $1,500 for interest, your principal is $400. You get those off of your payment statement. Real estate taxes, you put in how much you pay per month. I know that your tax bill is going to show every 6 months or every year. Just divide it and figure out how much it is per month. And then, of course, your homeowner's or renter's insurance goes into that section. Okay, maintenance and repair. I don't know how much you pay for repairs. You won't even know, but average it. Figure out, if you had, you might have, say, $150 or $200 a month on average of repairs and maintenance to your house. I would not necessarily put in the pool man or the lawn care man or woman in that section. That would go somewhere else. But maintenance and repair would be more like, your air conditioner needed to be repaired. That was $1,200 on average. That's $100 a month. Plus, there's always a couple other little things that go wrong, so another $50 or $100 a month. That's how I came up with that number. So just figure that out relative to your facts. If there are any health care costs not paid by insurance, so this is typically meds, co-pays, whatever you pay that the insurance doesn't cover, that goes in this section. And again, it's monthly average. So childcare. If you pay childcare, you're going to put that in there. Let's say it's $650 per month. So put that in. Oh, with the healthcare costs, let's say you pay $50 a month in co-pays and meds. So we put that in there. I put $50 in there. Again, childcare, I put $650. Groceries and household supplies. It's page 3, section 13, line D. Groceries and household supplies. So let's say, for example, you pay sometimes around $700, sometimes around $900, sometimes around $400. We're just putting an average in there. So let's say we're going to put an average of $700 per month for groceries and household supplies. The next section is eating outside the home. So if you go to restaurants or whatever, if you go very little but stop into McDonald's every once in a while, it might only be like $70 a month. If you have lunches every single day that you eat out, there's a restaurant right next to your office and you eat a lot more, who knows, that might be a considerably larger number. If it's $600 or $700 a month for eating outside the home, put whatever it is on average. Utilities. This is gas, electric, water, and trash. So let's just add those up. Average per month, let's say in this case it's $340 per month. Telephone, cell phone, and email. Obviously this may include your cable bill, and that's understandable if it does. With a bundle that you may have that has cell phone, cable, telephone, email, internet, all that included, put in the total there. And let's say that's cable plus cell phone. Let's say it's $220 per month. Okay, next section is laundry and cleaning per month. Let's say you take some clothes to the dry cleaner, but it's not very much, so it's about $40 a month. Clothing, this would include your whole family, so children, and let's say that you spend on average of $180 per month on clothing for the family. That could be considerably higher or considerably lower. You just put in the number that applies for you. Education costs under J. If there's education costs, put that in there. This is not, it could be, but I would not put in school loans here. Let's say you have a higher education and you have school loans and you're paying $400 a month for your school loans. You could put in college loans here and then put $400 a month. Or you could put in just $20 a month if you're just talking about minor school supplies that you need for your children, that kind of thing, whatever it is. If you have college loans and school supplies for your kidder, put $420, whatever it may be. Next section, K, entertainment, gifts, and vacations. And remember Christmas and birthdays and weddings, those are gifts, and divide it down to an average monthly. So let's say that's, $400 a month, including Christmas and everything else that you spend all through the year. This also would include a 3-day trip to Vegas. This would also include a 10-day cruise to the Bahamas. So whatever it is, average it out, monthly average. Auto expenses and transportation. So this is insurance, gas, and repairs. And if you have a bus pass, that would go here. If you have a rail pass, that would go here. But keep in mind, this does not include a car payment. So if your car payment's $400 a month, that does not go here. It goes somewhere different. So add up your insurance, gas, and repairs, and let's say that's $340 per month. All right, so insurance. This is life or accident insurance, and this is only if you pay for it. If your employer pays $100 a month for life insurance for you, that doesn't go here because you're not paying it. But let's say you do, and it costs you $118 per month. Oops. $118 a month, and you pay for it out of your own income, and that goes there. If your spouse also has one, and theirs is $60 a month, then you're going to add them both up and put $178 a month. Savings and investments. That section would include money that you're taking out of your check and putting into a 401k or an IRA. So let's say, for example, you take out $200 a month for retirement, for whatever kind of investments or retirement. Or savings. If you're just taking $200 a month and putting into a savings account, that goes there. Charitable contributions. So if you tithe at church, or you give money at the temple, or you give money for any kind of charitable contributions of any kind. If you go to AA meetings and you put in $20 into the basket each month, that would go there. If you give money to Red Cross, if you, whatever it is, average monthly, let's put it in there. So let's say we put in $30 per month. All right, so monthly payments, that's going to be down here, and we'll get to that in a second. So let's move on to Q real quickly. Other. If you have some other expense that you pay regularly, let's say you've got a nanny, and you pay that nanny, let's say $1,200 per month. Then that's going to go here. If you have, if you have regular telephone, regular internet, but you have a separate cable bill, you can put cable, and you can put $120 a month or whatever that may be. Okay, $120 a month for my cable. Now, this section down here, R is a total of all those figures. So add those figures up. Use a calculator. Make sure you get the number correctly. If that number's not correct, it's going to look pretty bad on you. Remember, you're signing this under penalty of perjury, so you've got to do due diligence to make sure that that number is correct. But here's one issue. We're going to go to section 14. And 14 is likely to have some more numbers in there, and you're going to want to add them in there. So you may not want to add it up quite yet. These all interplay. So Now I'm going to talk about section 13S. And it says amount of expenses paid by others. This is a very important section. So if you walk into court, and let's say that your total is $7,000 a month for your bills, but your monthly income is only $6,000, and you are paying the extra amount of money on your bills, let's say in this case it's $1,200 a month, and you're getting by paying that with credit cards, then you're going to want to put a little note down here that says credit cards, $1,200 a month. Or let's say you get loans from your parents. You're going to put loans from parents or friends or whatever it is. But if you can't make your monthly bills because your income is not high enough to do this, you better put in a number there that's being paid by someone else or in some other fashion, or it's going to be obvious that you make more money than you say you make, or else how would you be able to pay all of your bills? So let's move down to section 14, installment payments and debts not listed above. This is where you would put your car payments. So let's say you have a Chase Auto Finance loan. Yeah, I guess I didn't spell that right, so let's go spell that correctly. Chase Auto Finance, and let's say that is for your auto. And let's say that your monthly payment under amount is $520 per month. And let's say that you still owe $7,800 on that car. The next section is asking, are you current? Are you current on your payments? If you are, put current. If your last payment was a couple months ago and you're running behind, then put May 2016, whatever, 2 months ago may have been September, whatever it may be. Okay, so next section. Let's say you've got a Bank of America Visa. That's a credit card under 4. You put credit card under the title. And let's say that you pay $100 a month and your total that you owe is still about $1,000 on that card. Again, you didn't pay this since September 2016. Next one, Bank of America. Let's change that too. Now it's Bank of America. Let's say that you also have a Chase MasterCard. And that's a credit card also under 4. And sorry about my spelling. I'm spelling this poorly. Okay, then let's say you pay $50 a month on that one, and let's say that you owe $700 a month on that card. But let's say that one was just paid, so you're current on that credit card, and you have no other installment payments. Please note that these totals, 520, 100, and 50, were just added in on my computer. They're added in automatically under monthly payments under section 13P. You are going to likely want to total that. Comes out to 670, whatever your total is. Put it on line 13P and also add that into your total for your total expenses. And keep in mind, you may need to put a number down there on S for an amount of money that people are paying for you if you can't afford your bills. All right, at the bottom of the page, number 15 lists attorney's fees. If you have an attorney, you're going to want to put in how much you paid for attorney's fees. If you do not have an attorney, you're not going to put anything in this section. Note that you must, and it says this right there, that you must list how much you've paid in attorney's fees if you intend to ask the court for attorney's fees from the other party. Okay? Last page. Last page is just about the kidders. Number 16 top, you're going to list, it says I have, and list the number of kidders. I'm going to put 2 kidders. Number B is the children spend blank percentage of time with me and blank percentage of time with the mother. So we're living in this circumstance. I'm saying that John Doe and Jane Doe live in separate homes. And let's say John's got 30% and Jane's got 70%. And this is based on every other weekend custody plus 1 night during the week and holidays and holiday visits. That's what that 30/70 is based on. Okay, section 17. And obviously you put in what applies to you. If you're still living together, and that's pretty common, I'm going to get rid of the every other weekend thing. I'm also going to get rid of 70/30. If you are living together, you're going to want to put 50/50 and still reside in the same home. Or something to that effect. Still live together, whatever. 17, children's health care expenses. If you have medical insurance that's available through your employer, you're going to mark I do. If you do not have medical insurance available through your employer, you're going to mark I do not. So let's go back to I do. If you marked I do, under B, you're going to want to put in the name of the insurance company. Let's say it's Aetna. And you're going to need to put in the address of your employer. I don't happen to know Aetna's address offhand, but I would go look on some of the forms, figure that out. You may even be able to find that online. So pause this tape, this video, and go find that, and if it applies, and come on back, put that in there, and then press start again. Okay, section 18. Under section 17 for the insurance, 17D, put in the cost that you pay, the amount that you pay each month for health insurance. And let's say it's $320 per month for health insurance for the children's needs. Okay, section 18, additional expenses for the children in this case. Child care, so that I can work. I think we put $650. Let me go check. What did we put? We put child care $650. I was right. So we're going to want to put $650 here because that's what we're paying for child care. Child health care not covered by insurance. Again, I think we put $50 up front here. $50 health care costs not paid by insurance. Let's say of that $50, $30 of it is for the kidders. So we're going to put 30 there under 18B. Under 18C, if there are travel expenses required for visitation with the children, then you're going to put that in there. If you have to fly to Texas to visit these kids, then you're going to want to put an average monthly expense in there that you pay. If you're just driving from one city to another, and we're just talking about gas, then you're not going to put anything else in there. Children's educational or other special needs. If there are special education costs or special needs expenses for your children with special needs, put those costs there and explain it below D. Okay. Special hardships. If there are any special hardships, then you're going to want to put that in here. For example, 19A, extraordinary health care expenses not included in 18B above. So if say your child, God forbid, broke an arm and there's a $1,500 charge that you had to pay for, it asks per month. So you're going to want to put in $120 a month or whatever it would be on average to cover that $1,500. If you have if there are orthodontic procedures done for your child and you're paying $100 per month for that and you need to still pay that for 15 more months, then you're going to mark that there. Major losses not covered by insurance. So if there was fire, theft, some kind of incident, wind, knocked down a tree onto your garage and it ruined your garage and your car, and you had to spend, $15,000 to fix that, then you're going to want to put this in this section. Expenses for minor children who are from another relationship. This is not child support for another relationship. This is expenses for that child. So these kinds of expenses, if there's orthodontic, if there's dental care, if there's other expenses that you need, if there's special needs costs for that child from another relationship, that goes in that section right here, 19C1. Under 19C2, if you do have some costs there, put the names and ages of the children that you spend that money on. Lastly, 19C3, child support I receive for those children. So in the section there to the right, next to the $sign, you're going to want to put in there any amount of money that you receive for child support for those particular children. Under the next section, you're going to want to list in detail what the expenses listed A, B, and C create an extreme financial hardship because. So this is where you explain what those hardships are. Then number 20, section 20, other information I want the court to know concerning support in my case. So if there is some information in here that you are pregnant, you just had a child and you're on maternity leave, if you're just about to have a child, if you have 3 other children from another relationship that the court doesn't know anything about, you're going to want to explain that in this section. This section is anything that you want the judge to know about that you think will help your case, whether asking for child support or spousal support, or whether defending a case against you for spousal support or child support. You're going to put in here, it's your last ditch effort to put something in here to help the court understand what you're doing. So congratulations, that's the end of the income and expense declaration. Again, this form is used for many, many things in the family court. Again, please stay tuned for additional videos. Thank you for letting me help you out. Oh.